Hello everyone, so I'm gonna get started right away this year, unlike having you guys sit through 30 minutes of credits. So, to quote the legend known as Jacob Alfarad,
Wow, this year sucked.
I honestly thought this year was gonna be better than last year, as I said in the first Christmas special, but it wasn't. AI slop content invaded literally everything. Just the United States being not the best, and wars, just wars. Yeah, so really it is very hard to be positive nowadays. But today, one man, one robot is going to have an idea that will change that. Words that no other Christmas YouTuber has uttered before. I should make a sequel to my YouTube Christmas special last year. Also, title card guy, you're rehired again. Yep, people, this year we are back at it again to talk about the gift-giving, holiday cheer spray individual who will still dance for a Capital One commercial every so often. Only this time, as you can tell from the background and from my player model, we are permanently here in Gary's mod this year. Anyway, this time there's more media coverage rather than history because I talked about the history portion last time, so go check that part out. But before I add new things this year, there are some updates that need to be addressed. Okay, so for the updates, we are going to start in chronological order. So, do you guys remember how I talked about Haddon Sunblom and the Coca-Cola Company in the 1930s? You know, the guys that'll murder you in your fridge in cold blood? Well, during the filming of that segment, I learned that Coca-Cola in 2024 made a little Christmas ad that was, unfortunately, AI generated. And you think that that would be it, but nope, not at all, because this year they not only doubled down with a repurposed ad, but with new scenes, what I don't give a damn about that, but they then made a behind the scenes video that is literally, and I cannot stress this enough, also made of AI. All I have to say right now is, dude, so uncool. These modern commercials basically take the legacy of Haddon Sunblom as being the guy who designed the modern commercialized Santa and basically threw out the window. And it makes me want to throw coal into Coca-Cola's stocking because this is so much bull. Alright, sorry, my apologies for that, everyone. The censors were gonna kill me if I was left on air for far too long. Anyway, we should probably move on to something more interesting, and another update. The elves. To quote myself from last year, oh boy, the elves. Common stories tell us one does not simply discuss Santa Claus without taking the elves into consideration. So let's get to doing just that. Huh. I didn't know we had that noise in our sound banks, but sure, why not? So to be a bit more specific, it turns out that I left out a couple details when I mentioned the elf on the shelf. They have apparently been around for over 100 years, and they came around into, like, the general public in 2005. I hope you feel old when I tell you this information. These elves on the shelves, they can fly, but only after you give them a name. Basically, if they have no name, they have no power. So if you want to hold them hostage, you know what to do. Basically, what they do as work, involves these elves. They spy on you. That's right. They spy on you, and they report what you are doing to Santa every night because they commute from your house to the North Pole. These elves can't speak in the presence of other non-North Pole life forms. I would know. I tried with my own elf. It did not work. But they can communicate with us through writing and listening to us. So give them a piece of paper, see what happens. But these elves are not alone because Santa employs animals. That's right. If you thought elf labor was crazy, what about the animals? Well, yeah, they're called elf pets, and these elves, the most common ones among them are reindeer, Arctic foxes, and St. Bernard dogs. So after looking up what the elf pets are, apparently each one of them does something with Santa's sleigh. So like the reindeer, apparently they grow to full-size reindeer and pull Santa's sleigh. The St. Bernards gather up the kindness of the world, and the Arctic foxes make the Aurora Borealis that guards Santa's sleigh from I don't know what, but they do that. Also, yes, Aurora Borealis.
That is time of year, that is time of day, this time of the country, long life entirely with the old yes.
So, yeah, if you guys thought Big Brother was watching you, you better watch out for Santa and his covert friends.
We are in the soup here. We're flying blind, man. Tell her we're flying blind.
So the elf on the shelf is not the only covert friends in the North Pole. In fact, as you saw from the Flying Blind segment, I'm about to talk to you guys about Prep and Landing. So Prep and Landing, a series of Christmas short films made by cacophonic overlords at Disney, complicate the Santa Claus story by positing how the man with the bag needs help every so often in advance of his arrival. An agency that operates similarly to air traffic control centers and the CIA, I do not know how the CIA operates, the mission statement of Prep and Landing is to get in, get out, and never be noticed. To do so, they are equipped with many different gadgets to assist in making sure Santa's visit is safe and secure. Notably featured in the short films are candy cane grappling hooks, snowman landing strips that basically hook Santa's sleigh in place, glitter bombs, and milk and cookie temperature detectors that are built into their gingerbread phones. So last year, I brought up the Prep and Landing elves alongside coal elves that were also in the short films to discuss an analysis on the social hierarchy of the North Pole. This year, out of totally left field, we got a special called the Snowball Protocol. Shows what can go wrong in the Prep and Landing delivery system before and after the big holiday. The gingerbread phones, for example, and I cannot stress this enough, straight up have a self-destruct feature that can cause a little bit of havoc while out on the job. I do not know if the elves contacted Dr. Doofenshmirtz to build those phones, but I think that's a viable class action lawsuit. Anyway, back in the North Pole, we also know, thanks to the special, that elves can have baby pet seals, but it's illegal to have them at the workplace because, well, yeah, it will get in the way of work. Also, the seals are allergic to fruitcake, which checks out. But there is a silver lining in that we also know from Prep and Landing that every January, the work elves get to go to a tropical island vacation that we do not know the exact parameters of. I would advise my fellow Christmas enjoyers to go watch a special. But please, do so in a very legal manner.
Your attention, please. Are there any Polar Express passengers in need of refreshment? I thought so.
So, I do not know how I got on this big train here, but apparently this is the Polar Express. I found this on Gmod. Anyway, so last time I briefly mentioned the Polar Express, or what I now call the Tom Hanks Express, due to him playing a total of 7 roles. The last time I mentioned the Polar Express, I used it to describe the urban biosphere of the North Pole. Well, after the first Christmas special got posted, me, Green, and Boney, you guys might know him from the end of the Christmas special, watched the film adaptation, and I made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment in ignoring the full picture. So on the night of Christmas Eve, this train right here, which transcends railways, appears to take a select group of children to the North Pole to see Santa depart for his global travel. And while this is a normal train, there is plenty of magic on it. For example, the waiters can summon tables out of thin air to serve hot chocolate. Okay, hold up a minute. The waiters can make tables appear out of thin air, ignoring the properties of matter transmutation to do so? Okay, you know what? I have seen everything. Regardless of that, once at the North Pole, one of the kids that got selected from the pool of train riders got to receive the first gift of Christmas. And in the case of what the casting calls the hero boy, he doesn't actually have a name for some reason, it's implied that it's Tom Hanks, he receives a bell that can only be heard by those who believe. Both the movie that this train comes from and the book that led to the movie's creation emphasize the need of believing in Santa in order to add a bit of joy to the Christmas season. And once you guys all do that, we can now explore new pieces of media that I saw this year.
You better watch out, you better watch out, you better watch out!
So what happens on the off chance that Santa gets, and to put it lightly, killed, like so? Well, that is where the Santa Claus kicks in. Basically, whoever finds the car that's within Santa's suit and puts on Santa's suit and drives the reindeer sleigh will begin to transform into Santa physically and mentally over the course of the next year until December. The movie itself, which is also called The Santa Claus, follows Scott Calvin in this role, a former toy maker who has a lot of love troubles with his ex-wife and who tries to connect with his son through the magic of Christmas. Yes, I know, that sounds corny. Believe me, it isn't. It's actually really, really good. The film, in relation to the bowl full of jelly, also introduces some new technology and confirms some old theories that I've had about Santa. Good example, last year I think I mentioned the biosphere theory, in that Santa lives underneath the North Pole. Well, we actually get to see that in the Santa Claus, so somehow my comment aged like milk. Dang it. Anyway, in terms of technology, the bag that carries gifts for kids, the big sack you see him go down the chimney with, automatically fills up with the correct gifts for the correct house. Additionally, it also makes Santa able to fly and fit into any chimney or opening at the top of a building. And if there's no fireplace, because some houses just don't have chimneys, then the magic of Christmas spawns one in and literally changes the house to do so. So the Santa Claus also brings in some new ideas about elves, the main one being that they too are also immortal and or can live for hundreds of thousands of years. And what's more, they have a SWAT unit that goes undercover in human society in case Santa Claus gets in trouble. I think ELF is an acronym for something, so I will put it right where my character's pointing, right here, because I'll probably look it up while I'm editing the video, but that's really all I got for the Santa Claus. I would recommend you go watch it. So after that, you may be wondering, how can Santa get even crazier? Well, we need to go see a very regular show in order for us to understand this. I can't get off the roof. Send help. Regular show, which aired from 2010 to 2017, I feel old saying that, is well known for not being normal at all. And this holds true especially for its plethora of Christmas specials that one can watch during the holidays. But in relation to Santa, one can turn to Season 4, Episode 9, with its two-parter Christmas special. Here, the North Pole is more akin to a military base. They literally show fighter jets. The conflict here centers around this piece of coal named Quilgan. He looks like this. I don't know why he looks like that, but he has a gun. A former toy designer at the North Pole, he harnessed dark magic to make a present that gave anyone what they desired most. Fearful of the power over people, a more lean Santa fired the elf, who now sought revenge. In the initial fight that starts the special off in a cold opening, literally because it was snowing, it was revealed that Santa has a hoverboard and can survive a fall of 35,000 feet from the air into a steel garage that Mordecai and Rigby find Santa in, and then that's when the plot kicks off. Also, Rudolph can fire a laser from his nose. I thought you guys might know that because it is very neat. Speaking of the presents that Quilgan was trying to get his hands on, it can only be destroyed by lava. And by the time the main cast of park workers get to the lava spot, Quilgan beat them to it by taking an escalator down while avoiding puzzles. And he almost got away with the destruction of Christmas. That was until Santa came in with an invisibility cloak. That's right, an invisibility cloak and bulletproof vest to catalyze the events that would lead to the destruction of the present and the death of Quilgan. It is implied it is a cartoon made for kids, although, to be fair, wings are drugs, I think. I don't know. Also, to quote Muscle Man,
Stunned for a while, but luckily my body was unscathed. Santa's got a six-pack.
now, the initial setup of this special was a Christmas party among friends, which reminds me, I need to get my friends here. I'll be right back. So you guys may be wondering two things right now. One, why are we in a courtroom? And two, why the hell do I look like this? Well, to answer the first question, it is not because I am taking Dr. Duvitschwitz to court over the exploding prep and landing phones. Rather, this is where my friends and I convene to explain Santa Claus theories. As for why I look like this, I'm trying to resemble the judge from the Ace Attorney franchise, as you can tell by this beautiful courtroom behind me, and that will make sense shortly. For now, it is time for me to go up there because I got something that I need to do. Alright guys, it is time for me to call the gang in. Order in the court!
I saw mommy kissing Yog-Sothoth.
Okay, that was the weirdest noise I have ever heard in my life. We are gonna move on from that and talk about Christmas carols. This entire section, by the way, is being improv because I came up with this last minute. So to make things a little bit simpler, I'm just gonna talk about I have a list of 4 of them that I want to talk to you guys about. So the first one is blatantly obvious. It's Santa Claus is Coming to Town. It lays the groundwork for the Santa Claus story and was first released in 1934. I myself like the J Schlatt version of the song on his Christmas album. As you guys know, clearly you guys all know the song. You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. I don't really need to go into how iconic the song is, but basically it shows Santa being able to make a nice and naughty list, how he's able to spy on you too, and he has toys on his sleigh, all to spread joy throughout the world. That's really it, but I'm gonna talk about some more obscure Christmas songs. Here's a good one. There's a song from 1952 by Les Baxter and his choir and orchestra called Santa Claus's Party. Basically, Santa has a party on occasion where he hands out gifts to anyone, rich or poor, that's what the song's lyrics say, under a very large Christmas tree with loads of dessert to spread around for everyone. This does bring into question, though, Santa's economic standings. Quacksy this year, as you saw in the previous section, said that Santa's a capitalist shill, while Fallen last year claimed that honestly, it's for the best that we don't dive into this kind of stuff. But we can dive into how Santa goofed up sometimes. Good example, in 1949, Ella Fitzgerald saw that Santa Claus got stuck in her chimney and then composed a carol about it in 1950. So sometimes Santa's pocket wormholes malfunction and it causes his rotund physique to get stuck in the chimney. That's it. But there is a more serious crime going on here. Because then, of course, there is the infamous I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus Last Night. Initially sung by Jimmy Boyd in 1952, practically everyone knows the Jackson 5 version that was released in 1970. Basically, Santa's a little ladies' man and he commits adultery on many occasions. So Green may be right about what he said in the Objection, but I digress. That's all I really got for Christmas carols. I'll probably research more for next year. But more importantly, we are at the final section. It's not this one, but the next one. And to do that, I need to fix the camera. So let me do that real quickly. Okay, I'm in position. Alright. Oh, wait. Alrighty, the camera's all set. Hit it! So for this last section, as you can see by the title, I am citing the work of Australian YouTuber More Pars, whose link will be in the description. Since, around a year ago, he uploaded a video about how Christmas is different in Australia. For one thing, Australia's in the southern hemisphere. That means, unlike the cold tundra you guys saw out there at the beginning of the video, it's hot in Australia. When Santa arrives, he switches outfits to a more casual beach attire because, and to quote Pars coin Santa,
"Fuck wearing that shit, it's too hot."
Even the sleighing reindeers change out, with Santa traveling instead in a rusty Holden ute, or pickup truck, pulled by kangaroos. Also, Santa, instead of milk and cookies, drinks Victoria bitter beer to get through his shift at night. And you might think this sounds crazy, but Bucko and Chaps would like to disagree when they wrote Aussie Jingle Bells in 1996. I'm not going to actually played the video here in fear of getting copyright claimed, but I'll show the album cover. Here you go. And that's really all I got. I only did Australia this time around, but definitely next year I'll go more around the world. And with that, we have basically covered everything that I wanted to get to. I don't really have a good way of ending the video, unlike last time, but I will say, look, I know 2025 has been rough for like many people. With all the stuff going on. That's why I make these Christmas specials, because I want to give joy back to the holiday season and to the community that is very much not in a good place right now. Hopefully 2026 is better, and if not, well, you guys will probably see me back here on Christmas Day of next year. But for right now, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and I'm gonna go to bed because Santa's on his way, like, right now as we speak. I'm recording this on Christmas Eve. So, to all my good friends, see ya! Wait, hold up. I knew I forgot something. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.